There, friends, it's Diane, the Creative Inkster, and I am here on Tuesday, November the 2nd for Technique Tuesday. I've shown this technique on this card before where you tear the edges with your scissors and then sponge it up to give it more of a grunged or vintage look. Tonight I'm going to focus on stamping on a different medium. So this here is cork paper. We have in our mini catalog a package of 2 sheets of 12 by 12 cork specialty paper that's $10.25. I've got some smaller pieces, but I want to show you what a full sheet looks like. Here's the full sheet. It has a gorgeous amount of texture. It flops over. It seems thin, but like many materials, it's quite a bit thicker than you would think. It has so much texture and some coloring into it in here, like as if it's, I guess, almost like sap is, like it's shiny. And so, yeah, I wanted to play a little bit with this. And this is a card that I made a little while ago. So what I've done is I've die cut a circle out of it. And I'm going to layer it onto a rich raspberry color on top. Here's the magic, the stamping. So we're going to need a large image. And the one I'm using is from Nature's Harvest. This one here. This is a bundle of the dies that cut out. But I'm going to use this large image here. I want to tell you the difference between this cork here. And that's that it's not like cork coasters that you might buy at, say, the dollar store or a craft store. They're quite a bit thicker, and I have not personally had a lot of really good luck coloring on them. This is a cork paper, so it's a little more porous. So here's my large image. The first thing I want to do is stamp it in a color that will work well with my Stampin' Blends. And I did use my Tuxedo Black. Sorry, I had to reach for that. Tuxedo Black Memento ink. I'm going to ink this image up, really mostly the top part because that's all that's going to fit on the circle. And then I can color it in with my Stampin' Blends. So position it here. There we go. Not worried if part of the image isn't clear because we're going to color it in anyway. So when you're using Stampin' Blends, which are our alcohol-based markers, you want to make sure that you're using a water-based like Memento ink as your base color that you're going to be coloring in. So I am going to use this yellow, which is Dark Daffodil Delight, on the top little parts, the little of the flowers. So actually they are coming through a little bit like black, a little dark. And then I'm going to use Rich Raspberry. This is the dark Rich Raspberry. I'm sorry, Dark Blackberry Bliss. That's going to be a bit dark. Oh no, it's good. And that's going to be on the petals here. Oh, I know. Do you know, I didn't realize that our Daffodil, Mango Melody and Rich Raspberry blends had retired. I had been using them not realizing. So when I made my sample over here, that's kind of what I'd been working with. So here I've got the Blackberry Bliss, which is a current color in our line of blends. Okay, and then these petals on this one here. So this is coloring in quite nicely, getting good coverage, and you're not really able to tell that I'm using it, coloring it in on black, and that there are spots that got missed. It just kind of gives you the outline for where you want to do your coloring. It's not your typical use for blends, but they work really, really well on cork. Okay, there's that part, and then I've got some leaves here. So I've got my dark Old Olive. So do the same thing. Just add this down the stems. So 2 full pieces of 12 by 12 for your cork paper. To find other uses for it too. I mean, I'm using it for little bits and pieces here and there, but certainly you can make it go even further. Okay, so now I'm going to glue this down. So what you'll like is the paper is fairly sturdy for using with a strong tape runner like Stampin' Seal or Stampin' Seal Plus, or you can use your liquid glue, or even Stampin' Dimensionals. I'm putting it down on this layer because then that's going to go on the card. Now here's a stamp set I haven't used in forever, so that's why I thought I would bring it out and and have a go with it. So this is Very Versailles, just a stamp set, doesn't have any dies to go with it because it doesn't really need that. So I'm using this large one in the center, which is a bunch of words. So I need that large die. I've got a second stamp block. I got that here. And I'm going to do this first, as I did in my sample. Doesn't matter if it doesn't get perfectly straight, but we're going to shoot for some straightness. And I'm using soft suede. Just ink that up. And if it's too dark, I've got another piece that I can do it in stamping off. Oops, I want to get it right side up. And about centered. There we go. Yep, that's about the same depth of color. And it's okay that it's a little off center. I'm good with that. Then I'm going to do a little more stamping. The same stamp set. I have these pretty flowers, which are from, oh, actually, no, I just used the greetings from there. That's right. Here's the flower from Nature's Harvest. It's the other more smaller one. And we're also going to use the blotchy one. That's a technical term. All right, here is the floral one. I'm just going to stamp this off, though. I'm going to use Rich Razzleberry ink, but it's pretty dark, so I'm going to stamp it off. Ink it up, stamp it off, and then I'm just going to add it around. Stamp it off. Looks kind of random. That's what we're going for. And then maybe one more down here to peek out when I put my circle down. See? So we'll clean this guy. I usually wipe mine off on my, or tap it off on my scratch paper before I go on to my cleaning Stampin' chamois there, because it helps to keep it from getting too dirty and having to be cleaned too often. So another stamp in the Nature's Harvest is this sort of blotchy piece. And this one I'm going to do in crushed curry. And the same thing, I think I'm going to stamp it off. It's pretty dark otherwise, or my ink pad is quite juicy. I'm just kind of filling these outside edges, making it look like a bunch of ink splotches. You can get carried away. You can add a little or a lot. I probably should put something down here. So let's get this going this way. There we go. All right, that's our background. And as I mentioned, I have already shown you how to do this, but I take kind of an older pair of scissors and I just pull this down the edge of it. That just kind of tears it up a little bit. You could also actually do the tearing, but the scissors give it a nice controlled tear on the edge. So that depends how sharp they are. Here we go. And then the top edge. And then if you wanted to, you could take your ink pad directly, or if you've got a sponge. And all I did was like this. I just kind of, you can either do it, I'm trying to do this so you can see it in the camera well. You can just take the ink pad like a sponge or a sponge dauber, and on those torn little edges from the scissors, you get a variety of ink onto the edges. Blow that off my ink pad. So that's ready to go onto the card base. Soft suede. I'm going to just grab my bone folder. And this piece measures 3 3/4 by 5. So it's indented a little bit around. I could have put another layer, but I like it like that. I'm going to glue it straight down. Hold it in place. And then I'm going to put a piece on the inside. So I have something to write on. This one's a little bit bigger, 4 by 5 1/4. And that's all set for writing when the time is right. The cork paper is thin enough that you could even put a piece on the inside as well. But I'm going to stick this on the outside. So you don't see a lot of that writing depending on where you position this. I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back of this. Pop up my layer a wee bit. I love these colors for fall. They're just so perfect. Rich Razzleberry seems to be my November color. Or Merry Merlot. It's another nice one. All right, so we'll stick this guy here, and then we'll sprinkle a little bit. And these are the brushed metallic pearls, or excuse me, dots, but I'm out of those. So I had my gilded gems to use. More gold, which is kind of a nice color on here. Take your pick tool, pick them up, and they are really well glued down. Here we go. And we'll stick these on here and give it some shine and sparkle. And that's a very quick card with a couple of quick techniques to help you. There we go. I was losing the sticky on that guy. There we go. And there's a quick card using some of our cork paper. So I hope you'll give that a try one time. The paper is available now in the August to December mini catalog. We don't know if it's going to carry forward in the future. I really hope it does because I feel like there's so much more we can do with it. All right, have a wonderful evening. I'll see you next week. Bye for now.